After.
What did I haven't even seen the rankings yet. What did Arkansas end up being ranked?
15, 16.
15th and 16th in the two polls?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, it's the big road game for us, big test. If you're gonna try to win a conference championship, these are big games you gotta come ready to plan. So it's top 20 matchup. I think, what are we, fourth? Is that right? And they're 15 and 16, so two top 20 teams. I mean, they were picked high in the preseason. I think second media to win the title. So it's a game that they've got really good players, really good coach. You know, they've got a little bit of injury issues, so that, you know, losing Brazil and Nick Smith being out obviously hurts them, but they still got plenty of talent in there to compete with everybody. Ricky Council's one of the best players in the league. So we're gonna have to do a good job, and they do a good job of scouting for it. I mean, they're gonna play to your strengths. You know, they're not gonna guard guys that don't shoot well. They're gonna try to take away your better players. So we're gonna have to do a good job. They're an elite defensive team. I believe they're top 10 in the country defensive efficiency right now. So our offense is gonna need to be good again. We're gotten a little bit better. Our turnovers have been down. We're gonna have to continue to get better with that. But our defense is gonna have to be good. You know, and it's gonna be a tough road environment. Last time we played there, I think the free throw discrepancy was one of the biggest in like 20 years in the SEC or something. I think it was, what was it, 43-8, if I remember right? They had 43 attempts, we had 8, so we're gonna have to expect a tough road environment. We're gonna play through some stuff.
Nick.
Yeah, you mentioned the turnovers, back-to-back games with not double-digit turnovers. I mean, what's been the key there, and what kind of does the road present differently that might make that tougher to keep that streak going?
Yeah, I mean, they've got some guys that are aggressive, you know, and depending on their matchups. Arkansas does, just trying to create some, but, you know, I think with us on our end, I think guys have just started to be a little more simple and just realize, like, if they're gonna turn the ball, we just can't keep playing you. Like, it's just that it's hurting our offense, like, you know. So guys have been better, you know. If you look, we had our primary ball handlers have been better, and then we haven't had the turnovers from the guys that don't handle it that much here recently. You know, our bigs have eliminated their turnovers. You know, Quinterly, Sears, Brandon, Jaden Bradley have all cut theirs down significantly, so it's just kind of everybody's contributed, to be honest with you.
Tony.
Are there moments where you can kind of see when a player kind of accepts or clicks with the blue collar mentality, and did you see that with Mark? Is that like a moment you think you could circle? And
I sure hope so, because he looked good. I mean, he was in there swarming loose balls, getting tough rebounds, you know, stripping guys when they got, you know, Sheboy in there, stealing it from Wheeler. I thought he was outstanding. So I hope it clicked for him. But I mean, he's shown some toughness at times. I think he was really up for that game. We need to be really up for a tough road game now. I mean, this is as good a road environment just about as you're gonna see in the SEC. Arkansas is a tough road environment, Auburn's a tough road environment, but this is right at the top here in this league.
Mike.
Just on that note, you were 3-7 on the road last year, but 3-0 so far this year. Just what do you think's been the difference in attacking some of these road games, and what's been the improvement?
Yeah, I think, well, one, we're a better team overall, that helps. I think two is we got a mature group that's, you know, understands what type of character it takes to win some tough games. And, you know, I think winning that game at Houston kind of proved that we can play with anybody on the road. I mean, that was a tough environment. They're number one in the country. Are they number one again? Yeah, so obviously they're a good team. You know, they were number one and we beat them, they fell out, now they're back at number one. So it's a tough game. I just think in order to win those road games like that, you gotta be tough. And I think we're a little bit tougher. I think we're a much better defensive team. Go on the road sometimes, you get some offensive droughts and your defense has to carry you, and I think our defense is able to carry us a lot more this year.
James. Arkansas is really running their offense through Black and Council. Just what have you seen out of both of those players, and just kind of what you're trying to do?
Yeah, we recruited both of them, to be honest with you. We tried, so I'm fairly familiar with both of them. Both really talented. Council more of a scorer. Black can score, a little bit more of a distributor. You know, Council plays off the ball. Black plays with the ball. They're both big, skilled guards. So, you know, we're gonna have to do a really good job on both of them, and we're gonna have to keep Black out of the lane. We're gonna have to keep Council scoring limited. Those two are gonna make them go. So, especially with Nick being out, and Brazil is really starting to come along for him. So with him out, you know, scoring loads gone to Council quite a bit. They still have Devontae Davis, who's been a really good player for him for a few years. So he can definitely get it going. You know, Jordan Walsh, another highly touted freshman that's got a chance to get it going. But I do think, you know, Council and Black are probably two guys that, you know, make them go the most. But they definitely have some other talented players.
Charlie.
This is a little off topic, but you talked about it earlier today, the new arena. I know there's some financial hurdles there, but how important is that to you in the future of the program?
I mean, it's a big deal. You know, you look at some of the places we go, and they've got a real nice arena, and, you know, ours is a little behind. But like I've said in the past, it really affects the fans a lot more than it affects us. Like the floor we play on, just as good as any floor in the SEC. I mean, they're all pretty similar. Our situation with our practice gym, our locker room, all that stuff, it's all top notch. We're great there. So it's not like that's hurting us in recruiting or ability to win games. But I do think just for the program, the university athletic department, it's a big deal to, you know, have a great arena for fans to come watch. I do think getting a home environment now, when you pack this place full of 15,000 like Kentucky was Saturday, that's a great home environment. But you know, we need to have a great home environment every single game, and I think with a new arena, I think we can get a lot closer to that. So I think it's a big deal in the future. And you know, Craig Byrne and the Board of Trustees and President Bell, I think they're working on it. They're trying to get us to where we can get it. I think they were close and ready to go until, you know, inflation obviously hit building costs quite a bit. So they're trying to figure some more stuff out at this point.
Two more, Tony.
It's not often that you get a 1,000-point scorer that's coming off the bench. We've seen Javon come off the bench and kind of done that unselfish role, but how good is it to have a selfless player like that that's willing to do that, especially in today's age? Yeah,
and that one slipped me. I didn't realize he had 1,000 points Saturday, so congrats to Javon for 1,000 points. That was huge for him. We, you know, he's essentially a starter. I mean, he's obviously one of our most talented kids, but you know, you gotta have some scoring, some playmaking coming off the bench. He's been great off the bench. We've brought him off the bench years past here. So to have a 1,000-point scorer off the bench certainly helps, because now you can come in. If the other team goes to their bench and we go to their bench, you know, I think we get a little better. So, and it shows that he really just cares about winning. And I think when you got guys like him, Noah Gurley off the bench, Dom Welch, you know, all the talented guys that come off the bench, they're really just caring about winning. You see how closely knit our group is, the camaraderie, the chemistry. I think that's one of the things that speaks to how close our guys are. What a great group of kids we've got really the opportunity to coach. Like, we feel lucky that we've got such a good group of guys to coach, and he's right at the top of that.
Kurt?
Yes, just an update on Burnett, how he's coming along.
I think he's meeting with the surgeon this week. At some point, we'll get an update on that. I think, what is he, 2.5 weeks in? I think we said 4 to 6, or no, 6 to 8 we said.
Yeah.
Is it 2.5, has it been 2.5 or 3.5? I think we have 2.5 left. I think he's 3.5 weeks in, and I think we've got about 2.5 left. So he's starting to do some, now it's his left hand, so he's starting to do some shooting on the side in practice, but he's not playing Wednesday, he's not playing this week, he's not next week, but, you know, at some point that following week.
Last one, Mason.
Coach, you and Eric Muslim started your coaching careers in the ACC together. Just what is like, you know, kind of sharing the floor against another coach, and how's it kind of been just working with him in the ACC?
Yeah, I mean, we actually, I think, got our first 10 jobs in Division I the same year. He was at Nevada, I was at Buffalo. We played each other in Great Alaska Shootout, and they got us up there. We had a really good team in Nevada. We were pretty good at Buffalo, and then we started the same year in the SEC. He's been to the Elite Eight twice. He's done a great job. We won the SEC in year 2 here, so we both done a pretty good job getting the programs turned around. Like we said at the beginning of the conference, we're both top 20. So he's done a great job getting talent in there, coaching them. I think we've done a decent job here. This game probably means a little bit more right now than it used to in the past. So this will be a fun game to go get. I mean, this has meaning when it comes to SEC championships. And if you look at what I think last year they started, what are they 1-2 now? And they started I think 1-3 last year, and then went on a run and finished 13-5 if I remember right. And they were competing for an SEC championship all the way up to the end. So the fact that they've started 1-2, I don't think phases them a whole lot. I think they're gonna be ready to go and still plan on competing for an SEC championship as we are.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.